Hey, this is Marcus Washington from Making the Cut. As you can see, this is episode 3 of Good Morning with March Madness. We are pressing up against the games again, so we are looking at almost like a truncated show. But again, as I have explained time and time again, no one wants to watch a bunch of talking heads for the next 40 minutes when only thing you need is the crux information about today's game, especially if you're looking at it from um, an angle of gambling. So first, let's start off with some non-NCAA stuff. NCAA tournament stuff. Walker Kessler from North Carolina has decided to transfer after 1 year. This is kind of a big loss for Roy because he was starting to kind of step things up as the season went on. He had the COVID stuff, which gave him a great chunk of time that was off. So big loss for North Carolina. You have to see who else is going to stay, who else is going to go. Also, UNLV has a new coach. It will be Kevin Kruger. He will be taking over the men's program. So UNLV will definitely have a new direction going there. Now, for the purpose of why we're here, which is because of the NCAA tournament, you can see the scroll at the bottom for today's game. So I'm going to preface this by saying I am not going to pick Maryland, Alabama today. As I've said before, there are certain schools that I cover. University of Maryland is one of the schools that I cover, so I don't want to pick their game when it comes to point spreads and stuff like that. I'm sure you guys can understand and respect that. But I will pick the other 7 games today, not involving Maryland. So we're going to start off with Oregon versus Iowa. The Ducks are getting 5 points. This is something where you can believe in styles. Which style do you think? Iowa is going to try to get inside guards. There's always a matchup issue, but they have so much more than that. They have a very experienced squad, and if they're making jump shots, they're very tough to beat. I actually like Oregon in this one plus the 5. Iowa might still win the game, but I think Oregon, if they can push pace and get guards out on the perimeter, get them in screen and rolls, kind of push them out there, get them in spots on defense that he doesn't like, then I like the Ducks to somewhat keep it close. This is always a potential for a backdoor cover. Take Oregon plus the 5 points. Oklahoma is for plus 14 against Gonzaga. Man, I don't know. I don't know how you can pick against Gonzaga no matter what the spreads are. Gonzaga is one of those teams. We saw this in, I believe it's the 2009 North Carolina Tar Heels when they won every game in the NCAA tournament by double digits. This Gonzaga team is that good. I like Gonzaga minus the 14. Evelyn Christian versus UCLA. UCLA is giving up 4.5. I think UCLA, if you go back to my Twitter feed at MTC with Moot, you will see before the season, I picked UCLA to make the Final Four. That was obviously before the season. But they are playing well right now. They got themselves a couple of wins under their belts. I like UCLA minus 4.5. In a second here, we're going to come back with the last 4 games we're going to pick for the day after you hear about how great Hammer and Nails are. This is Marcus Washington from Making the Cut to tell you about Hammer and Nails Grooming. Now, Hammer and Nails Grooming is a shop for guys. It's the ultimate one-stop shop man cave for all your grooming needs. Hammer and Nails offer cuts, straight razor shaves, beard grooming, color camos, facial waxing, manicures, and pedicures. They don't just offer a service, they offer an experience. Hammer and Nails is a no-contract, loose membership-based model that gives a discount for services. The membership is flexible. With no fee to join, you can freeze, cancel, or share the membership. Unused services bank for future use, so there is no risk to join. Hammer and Nails also welcomes walk-ins and guests without memberships as well. Guests enjoy an oversized, comfortable leather chair, a complimentary adult or non-alcoholic beverage, individual 55-inch televisions at each station, and a male-friendly atmosphere. The goal is to make you feel and look like $1 million. So visit Hammer and Nails Grooming Shop in Leesburg, Virginia. So we're back here, and the next game we want to take a look at is Ohio versus Creighton. I was down on Creighton because, Creighton ended that Big East tournament in such a poor fashion. But they seem like they've picked it up some, and this is one of those dangerous games for Ohio because if Creighton is missing shots, if Creighton is making shots, they can run Ohio out the gym. And I do think that Creighton has kind of gotten over whatever was wrong with them, and we're not going to get into the whole thing with McDermott. Um, Whatever was ailing them near the end, it looks like they're starting to break out of it. I like Creighton. I almost like Creighton in a big way. So I like Creighton minus the 5.5. LSU and Michigan. Michigan, again, has taken several steps backwards. At one time, they were playing so dominant, and I don't know what's going on there. I thought they started stepping back before the injuries to Livers. They certainly have stepped back a little bit since then. They just don't seem like themselves, and I'm wondering if it's that old adage of maybe they peaked too soon. I don't know. I'd like to think that that doesn't actually exist, but maybe that was Michigan's issue, was that they peaked too soon. But they are certainly not running, especially on offense, not as smooth as they were at the beginning of the year when they were just rolling in the Big Ten. But I don't have that much confidence in LSU. I don't think that LSU is a big threat today. Michigan is Michigan minus 5. I like the Wolverines minus the 5. I think they get some points inside. They'll get out running. LSU style will allow Michigan kind of to find themselves again. So I like the Wolverines minus the 5. Florida State and Colorado. This is a dangerous game because as Georgetown found out, Colorado is a team of matchups. If you do not match up well with what they do, they have the ability to blow you off the floor. They made a really, really good run in the Pac-12 tournament before losing in the Pac-12 finals to Oregon State, which, by the way, has made it out the first weekend. So that doesn't look like the loss that people probably looked at it like when it actually happened. But Florida State, I am bullish on Florida State. I have Florida State making the Final Four at the beginning of the tournament. If they get out the first weekend, they're going to the Final Four. I'm telling you, this team is going to the Final Four. But in the meantime, they have to get by today, and it's tough, and it's the nose minus 1.5. That's a tough line if you are gambling. And as I said, all this stuff is for entertainment purposes only. I wouldn't even mess with the line if you're gambling. I would probably look at taking the over and not even messing with the 1.5. But I'm here to talk about who's going to win. Florida State's my pick before the tournament. I'm going to stick with them. It would not surprise me if Colorado won, just because how the two teams match up, just because Florida State does have the penchant at times to turn the ball over, and Colorado can defend at times. And they have the length, they have the athleticism to match Florida State. So we'll see. But I'm going to go ahead and take the nose minus 1.5. In the last game tonight, USC, Kansas. Kansas is favored by a point. I like hands down. I like USC in this. Again, this is a game of matchups. I think USC matches up perfectly with Kansas. And I look for you, and you can't call it an upset. I know everyone wants to say, it's an upset because you're looking at, what the seeds are. It's not an upset. But I like USC to win the game. Now, looking at some of the teams that may get to the next weekend, we have 1, 2, 3. What's this? 1, 2, Oregon State, Syracuse, Oral Roberts. All double-digit seeds who are getting to the second weekend. Out of those 3, wow, it's tough. I would say Oral Roberts is probably the one I'm most surprised by because Oregon State was playing well coming off their Pac-12 tournament championship. And Syracuse, because of that zone, and it just seems like they play better when they're the lower seed. I don't know why. Maybe because it takes some pressure off and Bayline coaches differently. I don't know. But it seems to me that they play better when it comes to that. And so I'm not as shocked for those two as much as I am Oral Roberts. And the reason why I'm shocked at Oral Roberts, and this is not so much of a shot at them as much as it is, I was just shocked at how poor Ohio State played. Oral Roberts beating Florida didn't shock me. Oral Roberts beating Ohio State shocked me. Once they beat Ohio State, I thought there was a chance that they'd beat Florida. So that didn't shock me. Maybe in the fashion that they beat Florida, it shocked me because I thought that Florida at one time thought they had seized control of the game in the second half, and they didn't. That was obvious. But Oral Roberts being there doesn't shock me after they got past the first round. Now, if you look on this side of the bracket, Oklahoma, we still have Ohio, which is a double digit, and we have Abilene Christian, who is a double digit, along with Maryland. And like I said, we're not picking Maryland on here. So there's 3 double digit seeds left here trying to get to the second round. So that should set up the day well for people who like the NCAA tournament because of the ability of the lower seeds. That doesn't get me. I don't need the upsets. I don't need the lower seeds. I don't need the manufactured storylines. I just want to see the better teams win, to be honest with you, because I want high quality going into the Elite Eight, Sweet 16, Elite Eight, Final Four. I don't want to see someone who's kind of like lucked their way there, and then when the luck runs out, you end up with a blowout in an Elite Eight game, or a blowout in the Final Four game, or heaven forbid, a blowout in a national championship game. So we do have the 3 lower seeds going, having a chance to get to the second round after 3 lower seeds on the other side of the bracket got to the second round. For those looking for a Maryland preview, if you go to the Making the Cut with Mook YouTube channel, there's a preview of their game with Alabama put up there where we talk strategy. We don't talk lines or anything like that, or over-unders and that sort of stuff. We're talking strategy. With some quotes yesterday, Mark Turgeon met with the media yesterday, and some things that he said, and kind of delves into how Maryland is going to approach the Alabama game, a team that plays at such a fast pace, a team that has so many weapons. So if you're looking for the Maryland Alabama preview, you can go to mtcwithmook.com, which is the website, or you can go to our YouTube channel and just put in Making the Cut with Mook into the search engine. You'll get there, and we have the preview of Alabama and Maryland. So we are approaching tip-off today for the first game, so I'm not going to hold you guys up. Thank you for joining me for the 3rd episode of Good Morning with March Madness. We will be back when the Sweet 16 gets here. So we'll have a few days off between this episode and our next episode. But once we get to Sweet 16, we're going to delve in more just beyond what the over-unders are. So thank you for joining us today. Good luck if you're wagering. And at the very least, if you're watching the NCAA tournament, let's hope that we have another day full of close games. If you want to access the recording of this, because you are looking for picks and you are looking for picks against the line, go to the YouTube channel, Making the Cut with Mook. You will see the recording of this, the tape recording of this. This is broadcasting live on Twitch, Periscope, and YouTube. So you can catch it there. There'll be a replay of the video. If you want to find out who I picked compared to who you picked, and again, it doesn't have to be a line. Go inside my Twitter account, MTC with Mook. Go in there and comment, what you have, what you think. It could be about the strategy of the game. It doesn't have to be over-unders, doesn't have to be against the line. And just give your feedback of the NCAA tournament. Give your feedback of today's games, who you're rooting for, who you're not rooting for, so on and so forth. My social media accounts are very interactive. So jump on there. You see it at the bottom there at MTC with Mook, and enjoy today's games.